infernal blessings. Back with another video. It's gonna be probably a little bit shorter than I didn't even plan on doing this one, but I'll get to that in a second. Just a couple quick announcements. I always like to put the announcements out there in the beginning of the videos. If you're interested in attending the 8th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference, that will take place October 30th to November 2nd. There'll be probably a brief announcement. Here in Hollywood, Florida. I just also want to throw, it's a 4-day event. You can attend it virtually or live and in person. And also want to keep throwing out there, if you're going to attend the meet and greet on Thursday night, which opens the conference, that'll be about 7:30, 8 p.m. On October 30th. So in case you need to make travel arrangements, book flights, checking in the hotels, I'm going to keep reminding people the start time of the meet and greet and opening ritual on Thursday evening. And then Friday and Saturday, classes, workshops, rituals, group dinners, and some socializing, and a question and answer session on Sunday. If you want to attend or you need information to attend, shoot me an email at khnum19@gmail.com. You can sign up for that now. That is open to sign up for right now as we speak. All right. Also, if you're interested in a spiritual reading or a consultation, I offer various different types of readings: Klepothic, demonic readings, Saptamawerte readings, Egyptian oracle readings, shadow work readings. Shadow work is a continual ongoing process. If you want to see what's going on with the shadow and the hidden self, to point you in the right direction, especially for your ritual work. Deity readings to see what gods, goddess, demons, and spirits walk with you. Maybe you're just interested in a spiritual consultation because you got a lot of questions about the occult and the left-hand path, or you want to focus on an area of interest. Just want to reiterate, a consultation is not a reading. Some people still get that confused. They book a consultation with me, and then we get into the session, and then so what kind of reading we doing? It's not a reading. Consultation is just that. It's like if you go to a lawyer and you're consulting about a legal matter, you're getting consultation on it. So when you're booking a consultation with me, you want to have a consultation about something on the occult and the left-hand path. Okay, so just be conscious of that when you book a reading or a consultation, that you clearly know the difference between the two of them. All right. Also, don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos Patreon page if you want to sign up for classes. I offer various different classes on a multitude of topics. You can go to the Patreon page at patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. Tier 3 is the tier you want to join. That's the tier that's going to give you access to the 3 private classes I do every month, including the group ritual we do together at the end of the month. It also gives you access from the day you join, not just moving forward from that day, but also to everything in the archives going back 6 years. When you go to the Patreon page at patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, go to the collection section and you will see all the current ongoing classes with constant new classes being added on a regular basis. All right, don't forget to check out the social media pages: Primordial Chaos 9 on Instagram, Primordial Chaos 2 words on Facebook, primordialchaos.com3 on TikTok. Those are the platforms to stay abreast of announcements, happenings, classes, events, everything that I'm doing here in Primordial Chaos. That's where you want to go. And please go to those platforms, subscribe. When you're watching the videos here on YouTube, please hit the like button. The more likes we get, the more this puts that algorithm out there and gets this video and this information reaching as many people as it can. Also, don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos podcast, available on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. The direct link to my podcast, the direct link to the social media pages, the direct link for my contact email address, the direct link to the Primordial Chaos Patreon page to sign up for classes. All those links are in the description box of this video you're watching right now. All right, so I'm going to be brief with this one. Again, addressing an email I received recently. I've been doing a lot of topics about lately, on and off over the weeks, about looking for the creator inside of yourself, looking for the divine, that supreme being, that God you've been looking for resides within. I guess there's a lot of people still struggling with their understanding with that. And let me be clear. Okay? That's why I titled the video, "To know yourself is to know God." Okay? I'm not sure what's still complex in this. I still think subconsciously people are still struggling with understanding the fact that the divine resides within them, that they still are under the illusion and the mental programming that there's something outside of themselves that they're inferior to. I don't know how many more ways I can explain it. Sometimes maybe it's just something not for you that you can't embrace. And I'm not calling the person out that sent the email. I'm kind of speaking as a whole, because your email kind of sparked to deliver that message. So I'm not speaking directly with this person or calling them out. I am speaking to them, but I'm speaking to everybody as a whole. Okay, I even have gone into, more recent texts over the course of history, like the Bible, using the teachings of Jesus, where he's clearly pointing out that the divine resides within, that the essence of the Creator was put into us, going back to Genesis 2:7. I've given you guys a quote, Psalms 82:6, to kind of use it as an example, and what he's speaking about in John 10:34. God resides within us. The very essence of the Creator exists within you. So I'm trying to use that to show you the only place you should be looking is yourself. Hence also that famous saying inscribed above the temple of Heliopolis, the temple of the sun in ancient Egypt. Know thyself and thou shalt know the gods. It's along the same principle. Even though I titled this video, to know yourself is to know God. Okay? Because if you understand also the principle on the occult and the left-hand path about self-mastery, apotheosis, right? It's all in that spectrum, okay? I know it's hard for some people to grasp, because this spell of religion and indoctrination that we all, majority of us for the most part, we're all raised and brought up in, it takes a lot of years to filter that stuff out. I've seen it even amongst people who claim to be on the occult or the left-hand path, who have been on the path for years. Sometimes you catch them backtracking. Okay? It doesn't disappear in a short period of time. Okay? So I get it why some people are still struggling, because some people can't fathom the fact that they were taught their whole life that there's some spooky being outside themselves. That's their salvation. That's responsible for creating everything that exists in the world and in creation itself. And, there's somebody up in the sky keeping score of your good and bad things you do and all that mythological, religious nonsense and garbage. I mean, I get it. But the reality is, until you can accept the fact, okay? Until you can look at yourself in the mirror and stop depending on other people's bullshit, religions and dogmas and methodologies, until you can do that, you truly can never understand who and what God is and embrace the Creator. All right? I even see people doing this spooky shit with their ancestors, right? Stop saying ancestral worship. It's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. You can't worship yourself. So my question I would pose to people in regards to their ancestors, do you approach them the same way you would some mythological being that exists outside yourself? In my opinion, some do. Not all, but some do. Right? I don't worship my ancestors. I keep addressing that. I stopped using that word years ago. You don't hear me use it. You don't hear me promote that spiritual concept. I know it's a part of a lot of ATRs, or African traditional religions, or traditional spiritual systems in general. I don't teach that. I don't promote that. Not when you come to the self-awareness, not when you are illuminated on the path of self-mastery. I just don't teach that no more, because it's nonsense. We're back to the spookism, right? So I see some people approach like if their ancestors are these external mythological beings, rather than establish a relationship with them and communicate with them just like you would communicate with a regular person, and deal with them as if you know them personally. right? Because your bloodline ancestors, you can confirm, most of us, for the most part, I know there's special circumstances and situations, when most of us can go back at least a few generations, and as I've said to you guys many times before, yes, all your ancestors that you connect with, you're not going to have known them all while they live. But they will reveal themselves to you, and that bloodline connection is no different than ones you do know by blood. So what I'm trying to essentially do is remove the spookism, okay? Stop thinking that the solutions and the personal salvation you're looking for resides outside of yourself. I don't know how many more ways I can explain it. I've done so many classes on this, on and off over the years, but I've also come to the realization not everybody's going to get it. Not everybody's going to, grasp it. And some people are going to struggle, and some may never get it at all. And sometimes some of those people are equipped to stay in religious schools of thought because that's where they need to be. Their minds are not equipped for a path of mastery like this. It's not for everybody. I get it. Okay? I don't deal with no external, self-reliant bullshit, period. I gave that up years ago. I don't believe in worshiping anything. I don't believe, bowing down and giving reverence to anything outside of yourself. You don't have to agree with that. It's just maybe mentally you're just not there. You don't get it. There's a difference of showing reverence and respect for the spirits, the gods, the goddesses, the demons, the ancestors. Because as I said before, we always use this term spiritual energy. They are energy. And you manifest them and bring them into shape and form based on how you've absorbed them and created and shaped them in your subconscious mind. So anytime you see a god, a goddess, or a demon incarnated, you say, I saw Belial, or I saw this, or I saw that, or I saw Kali, I saw this or that. You programmed all that information into your subconscious mind by the books that you read, by the images you laid your eyes upon. You gave it shape and form by the experiences you opened yourself up to. So what you are doing, they are etheric beings that you are manifesting according to your will. So I'm not saying there's not an external, and I want to be careful, I say the second word, aspect to it, but it never negates the principle that it all starts within. I don't know how many times I can explain that. First principle of Tahuti, all is mental. Mental is all, the universe is mental. It all starts, all of it has its origin in the depths of your subconscious mind. Okay? Which makes you God. You're continuously building and destroying worlds continuously. You're just not conscious or aware of it. You think there's some external force that's responsible for doing this nonsense. Because you can't get over the hump. And then you might leave a path of or a religion, and then you go into something you think is cultural or spiritual, and all you've done is replaced the monotheistic God, for an example, with your ancestors, or the monotheistic God with the spiritual God like Ra and call him the Most High, right? All this foolishness, which shows me people are still suffering from post-traumatic religious syndrome, okay? And a lot of people have post-traumatic religious syndrome, okay? And they're not aware of it. You know how many times I see people come on this path, and whatever path they came from previously, they just replace the left-hand path gods and infernal demons and spirits with the religious shit that they believe. Okay? That's it. And it doesn't work. I can tell you, at some point, you're gonna hit a fork in the road, a serious point of conflict, where you're gonna be put to the test, and then determining the choice you make determines where you head. Okay, so I don't know in many other ways of how to teach that. I think it's very self-explanatory. Okay. It's very important to me to understand the fundamentals of this subject so you can really understand what this path is truly about. And again, I gotta go back, and I've said it many times before, I get it. This is not for everybody. So sometimes it's just a simple case of that. Maybe this is just not for you. Maybe you need to stay in a system of servitude and worship and a system of inferiority to beings you believe that exist outside of you that are greater than you. Maybe you need that. I don't know. Right? And I can't answer those questions fully for you. Right? You're gonna have to answer that based on, what you've been through, how you are determining your experiences, and how you put them into perspective. See, I can't do that part for you. That's the part you got to do for yourself. Okay? So again, we don't worship anything outside of ourselves, including, I have to put this in there, including our ancestors. It's the dumbest shit in the world when people say ancestral worship. I'm like, really? How do you worship yourself? That's so fucking stupid. Okay? And why am I saying that? Real simple. The blood that runs through your veins and DNA that runs through your body and RNA that runs through your body is the same that runs through your bloodline ancestors. So stop approaching them as if you think there's something inferior to you. It's stupid. I don't care what anybody says to try to justify it. And it's the same thing, right? When you always hear me commenting over the years, I love when people say I got a download from the ancestors. That's my favorite. And nobody ever questions, what specific ancestors are you talking about? Are you talking about your personal ancestors? Are you talking about another form of ancestors? If you're saying this message is for everybody, I would like some names of the ancestors that you claim you're speaking to, because you ain't speaking to my bloodline ancestors. And don't give me some bullshit generic, just in general, the collective, and that's bullshit. Okay? If something is speaking to you and you can't clearly identify it, then you're a dangerous person. I don't want to listen to anything you got to say, because you can't even clearly identify who and what it is you're communicating with. But people eat it up. The minions and the zombies eat it up. Oh, such and such said they got a download from the ancestors, and the ancestor said this, and the ancestor said to do that. Well, how do you know they ain't speaking to some fucking psychotic ancestors in their bloodline that could be damaging and toxic to you and your bloodline, and you're taking directives and orders from somebody else's ancestors and you don't even know who the fuck they are? That is the dumbest shit ever to me. I'm sorry. It's the dumbest shit ever. Look, I used to be in that traditional mindset years ago, so I'm not saying that just from my opinion. I'm speaking it from both sides. From being a person like that years back to now understanding, or having a greater overstanding, I should say, an understanding of what your ancestors, what the gods, the goddesses, the demons, and the spirits truly are. Okay? That's the difference. And I started to see any system that teaches you to look outside of yourself for anything is dangerous. It's toxic for your growth, and it's definitely rooted in a system of indoctrination. Okay? And I stand firm on that. Okay? So stop the bullshit. Like I did a video a little while back, stop being a follower. Everybody wants to follow somebody so they can feel good. I don't like that term. Okay? Yes, we all on these platforms, we have followers. But not followers in the sense that we're waiting around. I don't want any followers that are waiting around as if they're waiting for me to say something. It's different if you have followers because they want to stay abreast on knowledge, or they're looking for guidance, but at the end of the day, they're making the directives and the decisions for their spiritual path. That's different. But some people are natural born followers. They just want to follow something because they're too fucking lazy to take the time out to figure it out for themselves. It's that simple. All right? So long story short, told you this wasn't going to be too long-winded. Long story short, you will never find the creator outside of yourself. I know you think, because you see a reflection of the creator in nature and creation, and you think that's some external force, and it's not. Again, there's something called antinomianism. All right? It's seeing it's understanding the micro and the macrocosm. seeing the reflection of the creator of everything in existence. That's what the Jesus of the Bible, or the teachings of Jesus in the Bible, were trying to teach, but people couldn't fathom it. Why? Because just like today, and just like back then, they were under the spookism of a sky daddy. They believed that this God that they were serving existed somewhere out there in the skies, billions and eons of light years away, and it's just not true. Okay? It's just not true. I know people so badly want to accept that and believe it, but it's just not true. Okay? So again, the only place you should be looking for the Creator is within yourself. Know thyself, and thou shalt know the gods. It didn't say know thyself and then look outside of thyself. It didn't say look outside of thyself and thou shalt know the gods. It said know thyself and thou shalt know the gods. So that statement alone confirms everything I've been saying for years. The only place you should be looking for God is inside of yourself, is what that basically is saying. Now, if you choose not to embrace that concept, and that's your given right, then you must become a victim to what you think is real. You know, become that victim under that spell of spookism, etc. And just, you know, go through life with the mindset of worshiping something outside of yourself. There's nothing I can really do outside of that. But anyway, those that don't know, those that don't know, they just don't know. All right. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Infernal blessings. Again, if you need to reach out to me for a spiritual reading or a consultation, my contact email address, the direct link to the Primordial Chaos podcast, the direct link to the social media pages, the Patreon page to sign up for classes. All those links in the description box of this video you're watching. Infernal blessings. We'll talk soon.